Andrew, who's never been arrested, says he and his colleague both felt intimidated by the police pursuit.
We intelligence gather against those individuals who we know are coming to events to commit offences.
I've met a number of people who don't have criminal records, have never been in trouble with the police, yet they were subject to being videoed, having their photos taken, being forced to give their details to individual officers. So how can that be justified?
Well, it depends on the circumstances. In some circumstances, we will end up filming a group of people who all happen to be around while we're focusing on one or two individuals.
I think that's complete garbage. From my own personal experience, I've been videoed on two protests, two entirely peaceful protests, one to do with the Middle East and one an entirely peaceful, not even a march, more a walk down a Cambridge path, protesting against student fees. And on both those occasions, I was videoed. And the question is, what basis was there for the police to believe that I was going to commit some kind of criminal offence just because I was protesting against something?
What do the forward intelligence teams do with the material that they gather?
Specifically, I don't know. We deal with all material that is received in a lawful manner, in a way that we're permitted to by law. If we've inadvertently gathered material that's of no value about criminals, it'll be disposed of because we haven't got the time or the space to do it.
It's taken 4 years, but last month the High Court ruled that while the police could take Andrew's photo if they had grounds for suspicion, as there was no criminal investigation, they could not store them.
They said the police had breached my human rights, that the police had broken the law in acting in the way that they did, specifically in terms of retaining the photographs and other information. And the police acted disproportionately in keeping that information, in building up a file on me.
Incredibly, despite the ruling, his details remain on a second database. The police are adamant this type of surveillance is here to stay.
It will not stop. We have a very straightforward responsibility and a right to film those who are breaking the law and to gather evidence in a way, and you wouldn't expect anything else. But we need to understand what are the implications of this case, and we'll issue guidelines when we know a little more about it.
So surveillance will continue, but campaigners say police are increasingly acting to prevent some protests taking place at all. In April this year, the police carried out what's believed to be the biggest preemptive raid on environmental campaigners in UK history. Here, they arrested 114 people believed to be planning direct action against a nearby power station. It was E.ON's power plant in Nottinghamshire, which had been targeted by activists before.
It's the police's job to prevent violence, to prevent serious harm to other people, but it's not their job just to stop protest. Protest itself is not just lawful, it's admirable. It's what citizens should be doing in democracy.
The arrests were for conspiracy to commit aggravated trespass, but as yet no one has been charged. Police officers are at least accountable. These men are private security guards employed by another energy company, npower, which had had trouble with protesters squatting on its land.
I saw two pinstripes lawyers coming down the roads, surrounded by full security guards with high-vis jackets and balaclavas on, at which point I started filming.
Adrian Arbib is an award-winning wildlife photographer and journalist. He'd heard rumours kingfishers' nests were being illegally destroyed by workmen and went to gather evidence.
They marched towards me and said that I should stop filming. I showed them my press card. Didn't seem to make any difference. They continued, said if I continued to film, then I would be breaking the law and could go to jail.
But he carried on filming them, filming him, filming them.
copy of a High Court injunction granted yesterday, particularly referring to paragraph 6, in which you're not allowed to take photographs of any protected persons, which includes ourselves and security people on this site.
Is this N-Power's property, this road?
No, this is a public highway, so I'm perfectly entitled to be here. It's done purely to frighten people, to put people off. I mean, if you've got these security guards running around balaclavas and threatening them with 5 years, people 5 years in jail, people back off. They don't come here.
The injunction was aimed at 6 protesters, including retired government scientist Dr. Peter Harbour. Remember him? It was granted on evidence supplied by N-Power employees and a police report.
The security guards and various other people associated with the power company sent evidence anonymously to the High Court. They didn't appear there. We weren't notified that they did so. And the judge was persuaded on the basis of this anonymous evidence that there was a case for an injunction. What this policeman gave to the High Court.
A respected professional who says he's never been arrested or even failed a security check in his life was alleged to have threatened, harassed and even driven his camper van at N-Power security guards.
Were you ever charged with that offence?
No, in fact, I have a letter from Police Accident Records dated the 2nd of April, which says that there was no incident involving my vehicle on the dates concerned.
Dr. Harbour says he wasn't told about the hearing, although N-Power says notification was sent out, but only after the initial injunction was granted. Not only was he named on the sweeping High Court injunction, he then discovered the injunction was put on a website, but not just any website. NETCU, the National Extremism Tactical Coordination Unit, was set up to respond to the threat of domestic extremism.
It linked our campaign to domestic extremism, and it was the official view.
How did that make you feel?
Well, it's a very shocking thing for someone who's been working professionally in a field of science where honesty is the most important thing that can be. And to be accused of domestic extremism like that is truly shocking.
But why would NETCU have on its website a 70-year-old pensioner who doesn't have any criminal record down as a domestic extremist? Why would they have that on their website?
I've never seen anything like that on the NECTU website.
I have.
Right, well, you'll have to demonstrate that to your viewers, because I can't talk about that because I've never seen anything like that.
Well, here it is, with Dr. Harbour's name clearly visible. It's since been removed. Despite the injunction, the little guys won in the end. N-Power abandoned its plans and the lakes are to become a wildlife sanctuary. So Dr. Harbour's persistence paid off. The police say none of this is designed to prevent people like him standing up for what they believe.
Don't come and tell me that the leader of ACPO has got some kind of vested interest in preventing lawful protest, because that actually goes against my culture, my background and my upbringing, and my belief in the point of lawful protest as a legitimate way of making statements.
I don't get any compensation out of this, you know. This wasn't done for the money, this was done for the principle. People need to take this action if they want to safeguard democracy, because no one else will do it for you.
And in its report on G20, the Home Affairs Select Committee described the police operation as remarkably successful, but attributed that in part to luck rather than judgment. The MPs said they could not condone the use of inexperienced officers on the front line, and they branded the failure of some to wear their ID numbers as unacceptable. All forces, the MPs said, should remember that those who choose to protest on Britain's streets are not criminals, but citizens exercising their democratic rights. Next week, Panorama reveals the emerging truth about torture and the Bush White House.
We are coming, but who